people who invested in Donald Trump thinking they knew what he was going to do may be surprised. And even if he does what he said he was going to do, I think buyer's remorse is a very real possibility.
First, they came for the immigrants.
You can't expect people to really, truly put others before themselves.
We have to deal with the fact that America has often chosen wrong and had to pay for it later.
74 million U.S. citizens were willing to vote for him. Whether or not they consciously embraced this fascist program, they certainly did not consider it to be a deal breaker. After he has become a convicted felon, and not for something honorable like selling cannabis,
by essentially not engaging with their base, particularly on the more progressive things that they found awkward to deal with, and instead bringing out Liz Cheney and others to try to peel people away from Republicans. It doesn't seem to have worked. Republicans didn't peel away towards them, and a lot of their base either voted Republican or didn't vote at all.
People have learned to, for better or worse, to simply look past what Donald Trump says and how he portrays himself and others.
I had family members who aren't, Republicans who don't identify that way for the first time, saying they didn't listen to us, they didn't give us a single reason to do this, and every day in the mail I got this, and I cannot vote for the Democrat.
The vote in this election does not mean a buy-in on every piece of what this administration is going to do, or even any of what it's going to do. Because if the only thing you can stand for is a slightly watered-down version of what the other guy is standing for proudly and with charm and wit, much of which is maybe offensive to you, but really it captures people's energy and imagination, you're just going to keep losing.
A lot of people just didn't vote. And what's the reason? Did we adequately focus on the 30 million poor, low-wage, infrequent voters that held the key to the largest swing vote in the country? We did not make a determined effort right up front that every time we opened our mouths, we said, listen, if you elect Democrats from the presidency to the Congress, in the first 50 days, first 100 days, we're going to raise the minimum wage.
What do you think the propaganda was aimed at? Hate others, blame others, be angry at others.
His style, his insults, his bravado, his exaggerations somehow make those people think that he's a strong leader, even if they don't believe what he says.
Any party that's not listening to its base is going to lose. And there has been, the base has achieved tremendous things, even as the party has become less and less influential and powerful. Think about what's happening in states with some of the abortion legislation.
What did the South do after the Civil Rights Movement, after the Voting Rights Act, etc.? They put up barriers to the federal government. And that's what Newsom is doing. California is the world's largest multiracial democracy. They're like, okay, let's get it on. Let's defend our state from the federal government. Well, guess what? That's exactly left federalism, I think.
350 cities passing ceasefire resolutions, mobilizations across the country that are very different than they were 50 years ago when it was 50 Palestinian guys in front of the White House. Now it's a couple thousand people in communities everywhere.
Actually building a popular base for fascism around a charismatic leader with a populist posture, harnessing legitimate economic grievances and wedding them to racial and ethnic hatreds and the general backlash against social progress. This is classical fascism.
A lot of the people were saying in this election when they said, I'm not going to vote the way you want me to, you can't take my vote for granted, and frankly, I'd rather give the other guy a chance and have you learn a lesson, which is a terrifying message when we're talking about our democracy being at stake. But it's completely understandable why some people did did decide to go that way. I suspect you're going to see a lot of people changing their registration from Democrat to Independent.
When does buyer's remorse set in among some of these people who voted for Donald Trump? You know, when the tariffs go into effect, for example, what will the business supporters actually think of the guy they've just helped elect? What will average consumers think when they pay the bill for those tariffs?